Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. That's the way I begin most every one of my sermons, the greeting that I use, but it's especially appropriate today because that greeting comes from Ephesians chapter 1, which is it's verse 2, and our reading from Ephesians today starts at verse 3. So it works. I greet you on behalf of all of your sisters and brothers in Christ around the Central Southern Illinois Synod of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. Actually, I'm delighted to be here again to bring you that greeting. Very delighted to be with you again to bring that greeting. If you're not familiar with the contours of the Central Southern Illinois Synod, our territory covers about 75% of the geography of the state of Illinois. We go east and west across the state to the northeast up to the Kankakee and Bourbonnais area, across to the Mississippi River at Nauvoo, and then south all the way to the tips in Carroll and Metropolis. A bishop has the privilege, the honor, the delight to preside at installations of pastors and do that a lot of times. I've done about 40 installations now, and I hope that you understand that through me, in spirit, all of your sisters and brothers in Christ around the Synod are here with me. And I also hope that after today, you'll have a sense that when I go to other churches, I take you in spirit, I take you with me, and that you too bring strength and encouragement to all the other churches around our Synod. I want you to know in particular that I know that today you are being prayed for all around our Synod. You are being prayed for all around our Synod. It's wonderful to be able to inaugurate this ministry together, and I'm going to do that with a focus on the Ephesians text for today. My college Greek teacher just loved this passage in Ephesians, chapter 1, verses 3 through 14, because, as those of you who know Greek so well are aware, that entire passage in Greek is one single long sentence. One sentence. And my teacher loved to assign this passage for translation and to watch his students struggle with going through all of the prepositional phrases and relative clauses and conditional clauses, winding on and on and on until it got to the end. Well, you know, when all is said and done in this sentence, in this passage, when all is said and done, what this passage is a tumbling out of praise and thanksgiving to God for all that God has done for the Ephesian Christians. All that God has done for them. Listen, you heard just a bit of this, but listen again to a couple of what you heard. What have they been blessed? Blessed with every spiritual blessing, adopted as God's children, redemption through his blood, forgiveness of their trespasses, the riches of his grace. All of that. And so now, right off the bat, at the very beginning, like the apostle to the Ephesian Christians, I tell you, no matter who you are, or where you've been, or what you've done, Jesus gave his life up for you. And no matter what your sin, no matter what your struggle, no matter what evil or despair, no matter what burden you are bearing, no matter all of that, Jesus took it all to the cross because he loves you. By the authority of Jesus, I say to you, God has adopted you. You are redeemed. You are forgiven. And all of this is entirely God's doing. Here's the pivotal point of the passage. God, the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, quote, chose us in Christ before the foundation of the world. Chose us in Christ before the foundation of the world. Chose us in Christ. Chose us. We don't talk much about being chosen. Author Kathleen Norris takes up this really well in her book, Amazing Grace, A Vocabulary of Faith. She has this little chapter on chosen, and she begins that chapter with this sentence. It seems dangerous to think of being a chosen people. What does it mean that we are chosen and others are not? It's a troubling view, this view of being chosen. It can lead to dangerous disregard for others. And didn't those deadly cult leaders, Jim Jones and David Koresh, and their followers, didn't they think that they were specially chosen by God? Thinking of yourself as chosen can lead to a sense of triumphalism, a sense that, a smug sense that God will bless us and will cream the other people. And yet the idea of chosenness is deeply ingrained in biblical tradition. Speaking of Abraham, the Lord said, this is Genesis 18, I have chosen him, that he may charge his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing righteousness and justice. Moses says to the people of Israel, this is Deuteronomy 7, you are a people holy to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you out of all the peoples on the earth to be his people. And in the New Testament, the same imagery of being chosen gets applied to the church. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. We must always give thanks to God for you, brothers and sisters, beloved by the Lord, because God chose you as the first fruits for salvation. And Jesus says to his followers in John chapter 15, you did not choose me. I chose you. I chose you. The thing is that biblical chosenness never assumes that being chosen by God means that I'm entitled to the good life more than other people. Entitled to look down. No. Entitled to privilege, luxury, ease, entitled to get my own way. No. John the Baptist was chosen. And look what happened to him. I just read it, right? Okay, enough said. Right. That's what may be in store for those who are chosen by God. And yet, being chosen means being gifted and entrusted with God's grace. So profoundly humbled by utter dependence upon God's grace and lifted up by God's grace, feelings of superiority over others are out. Rivalry and jealousy is out. Snobbish exclusivity is out. When the letter to the Ephesians was written, the Christians there were beginning to reflect on what it means to live day in and day out as people of God. What it means, to be a Christian and to have jobs, have families, have neighbors, have mortgages and car payments, Now that's supposed to be a joke. I was just testing you. Of course they didn't have mortgages and apartments, right? But everyday living. For that they will need a faith for the long haul. And that's what's going on in these first verses of Ephesians. The point of telling the Ephesian Christians that they are God's chosen is to take away any and all fears and doubts that they might have about being loved by God, to take away any and all fears and doubts they might have of being saved by God. God chose you in Christ is the message of relief and assurance to the Ephesian Christians and to us. And to us. People of the Lutheran Church of Mahomet, God has chosen you. Pastor Nikolai, God has chosen you. Yes, God has gifted and entrusted to you the ministry that is shared by all here. But God has also, through this church, entrusted you with a particular calling and responsibility. In a few minutes, all of you, you're going to make promises to one another. In the many years that I've been a pastor, I've learned that people don't keep the promises that they make in church because their pastor or their council president or their committee chairs or their bishop pushes or prods them to do it. It doesn't happen that way. They remain faithful to the promises that they make because they go into their best moments and they go into their worst moments, trusting in the God who has chosen them. Trusting in the God who has chosen them. So, Pastor Nikolai, among the promises today we will promise to love, serve, and pray for God's people here, to nourish them with the Word and sacraments, and to lead them by your own example in faithful service and holy living. That is a tall order. You're tall, but that's taller. My prayer for you is that you will keep those promises. At the same time, I know that as excited and gifted, talented, and sincere as you are, that's not enough. That will not do it. It is your trust in the God who has chosen you that will do it. And people of the Lutheran Church of Mahomet, among your promises today, you will promise to receive Pastor Nikolai as a messenger of Jesus Christ, sent to serve all people with the gospel of hope and salvation, and to pray for him, to help and honor him for his work's sake. In all things, to strive to get to live, and in all things, to strive to live together in the peace and unity of Christ. That is a tall order. My prayer for you is that you will keep these promises. At the same time, I know that as excited, oh boy, there's some excitement about it. And good, I'm glad. It should be. At the same time, I know that as excited and gifted and willing as you are, that is not enough. It is your trust in the God who has chosen you that will do it. The point is that you are about your ministry together in Christ because God has brought it to you. God has chosen you, and God has gifted you for it. Also, God has given you sisters and brothers throughout the Central Southern Illinois Synod and the ELCA to walk with you, to worship with you, to serve alongside you. That's what a bishop is for, really. And that's what pastor colleagues and sister congregations are for. It is a joy and a privilege for me to be with you this morning and to share this celebration. In Jesus' name, I wish you God's richest blessings on your ministry together. These are God's beloved people, Pastor Nikolai. Care for them, respect them, and treat them well. Beloved people, this is God's beloved pastor that you have called to be your pastor. Care for him, respect him, and treat him well.